Hello aliens, welcome back to my planet, and this is the next video wherein we're going to be discussing some more interesting points in Java. So this video is for the beginners. If you already know these type of terminologies like as keywords and variables, then you can definitely skip this video. I'll be starting that and I'll be explaining that from the scratch. So yes, this video is for the beginners. So without further ado, let's get into the topic. So yes, the thing that I'm going to be discussing today is the Java keywords. So what do you understand by the term keywords? Keywords are basically the reserved words. These have some predefined meanings in Java. So simply you cannot touch them. You cannot use these words to define something else. If you will do that, you will definitely get some kind of an error at the time of compilation. So what exactly, for example, what exactly do we have as keywords? These are the data types like integer, float, character, boolean. These are some defined keywords that we have in Java. You cannot use int to define some kind of a variable or to do some else or any kind of a manipulation. You will get some error while doing that. So integer, float, for talking about the loops. This is also a predefined function, not a function, have some different meaning. You can only use for so as to define a loop and to use a loop in your Java code. And also while loop, if this is the condition. Switch is also a kind of a condition statement that when we use in order to just define some different types of this conditions when defining some sort of a condition, then yes, switches has to be used for a complete different purpose. We'll discuss about them in the later videos, but as of now you only need to understand that switch, integer, float, these type of things cannot be used to define any kind of a variable, or you cannot simply touch them. So these are 52 in total. We have total 52 number of keywords, some proper meaning words which cannot be used again, and also talking about the other literals, the three other literals that we have: true, false, and null. These are some value assigned things that we use. We cannot again touch them. True, false, and null have their own set of meaning in Java. So that's it about the keywords. We'll discuss more. We'll see some more applications about them. So as of now, you only need to have some basic understanding what keywords are. In order to summarize this topic, these are the reserved words, restricted words. They have some their special meanings, and they can't be used for naming in Java while defining a variable. So let's proceed further. We'll move to the next topic, which is Java variables, and what exactly the variable means. Something which can be changed, which can be defined. You can put some value inside of it. So variables are some memory locations, named memory location to be precise. When you define a variable, you define a memory space, memory location with some kind of a name so that you can do some kind of a manipulation with that. And let's suppose this is what we call this to be as a complete memory in Java, and you just take a very small space. You give that space to be as some name. Let's suppose you are defining it as A. Then yes, this particular space will be named as A, and this memory location can be accessed with this kind of a variable name. So you can do any kind of a manipulation with that. You can assign some value to that, but the space name would be A. It reserves it reserves memory depending on the type of data type specified. Let's suppose you're defining this space of the memory with the integer data type, and the name of that particular space specific location is X. Then integer is having a specified memory location size of 4 bytes. So this 4 is going to be 4 bytes of space, which will be given to this particular variable X having the data type as integer. So you can definitely put any kind of an integer value in that kind of a space. That will be of your choice. Next is byte. Byte is also a data type having the total memory location of 1 byte. Yes, that will be a little bit smaller than the integer data type. And next we have is the character, wherein you can store some kind of a character value to the memory space. And yes, it will be of size of 2 bytes. Next, you can definitely do any kind of reassignment of values. Let's suppose at the beginning, when you are assigning the value as 5 to the integer data type, you can definitely change that value in the later part of the code by just simply saying x equals to 10. So that means the value can be changed at any given point of time. But yes, talking about the memory location, it will be same till the end of the code until you make a change on it. And yes, the variable particular memory location will be named as x only, because at the time of initialization, you defined it as x. You can only change the value at any given point of time in your code. So as of now, we are just changing it to 10, and suppose at some time later, we again want to make a change. We can change the value to 20, 30, whatever the choice you want to go for. Next is how exactly do we have the syntax and assignment. So firstly, you just put the data type, what exactly the data type you want to choose. Then you give a space, you enter the name, then equals to, and the value. For example, you want to assign integer, the name that you want to put for your variable as a, equals to 10, the value that you want to choose, semicolon. Next, let's suppose in later part of the code, you just want to make a change. You want to change the value of a to something else, that you just only have to put a equals 20. You don't need to have to define and you have to put the data type again and again. You just only need to mention that variable equals to 20, 30, 40, whatever the choice, whatever the value that you want to assign of your choice. That's it. All right, so we have some specified rules in order to do the manipulation in variables. So there are some set of rules that we have to make sure so that we don't get any kind of an error in our code. So there are 5 rules as of now that I'm going to be discussing over here. That the very first one says that you must start the variable name with some sort of a letter, or you can use an underscore, or you can also use a $sign. So yes, small x is definitely fine. Capital X is definitely fine. You can also use an underscore before that. And yes, a $sign can also be used with any kind of letter at the end, or whatever the choice you want to go for, that's going to be your call. So dollar is also fine in order to start the letter, the variable. So it can also have a combination of letters. Let's suppose if you want to use X, A, Y, Z, the combination of letters is also perfectly fine. And you can also have a combination of numbers in order to have, to define your variable. You can also use, talking about the special characters, you can only use 2 different special characters, that is @ or $. This is absolutely fine. Apart from this, if you will use any other special character, then you will get the error at the time of compilation. Spaces are not allowed. Let's suppose if you wanna, you define a variable having saving account, you cannot have a space in between of these 2 words. You can have an underscore if you want, but a space is something which is not acceptable. You can definitely just combine these 2 words without any space. You can use saving account at one go. That is absolutely fine. Talking about the keywords are definitely not allowed because they have their own meaning in Java. So in float, these cannot be used as variables. It is case sensitive, yes. So let's suppose if we have 2 variables with lower cases as AGE and then uppercase AGE, these 2 will be having different meaning. These 2 will be having different memory allocation at the time of execution. So they will be these are 2 different variables. The Java will understand them as different, completely different. All right, so in order to summarize the topic, we discussed about the variables, and variables are the named memory locations. Yes, memory locations is something which can be done with variables having a specified name. It reserves memory depending on the type of data, like integer have a different memory allocation, character have a different memory allocation. Reassignment is acceptable. You can change the value at any given point in time. And there are some specified rules that we have to make sure while defining a variable. All right, so that's it in this video. This is a very short video for some basic understanding, and thanks for watching. See you next time.